everyone, so it's time to talk beauty favourites for the month of April, and I feel as if there has only been maybe 1 or 2 videos in between last month's favourites and now coming up to this month's favourites, so I'm sorry about the lack of videos. I have been working on something vlog related, YouTube related for a couple of weeks and it's taking up a lot of my time, so you will all find out soon what that is, but again, sorry for the lack of videos. They will be a lot more regular in the beginning of May. So this month there was some pretty exciting beauty news in that Tarte, the US makeup brand, was starting to stock on QVC here in the UK, and I have just coveted Tarte for so long. I've never actually been to America or any of the places that have a Sephora that stock it, so I've never been able to try any of their products, and I actually mentioned in my Sephora haul a few videos back that I bought a couple of things from them and it was just love at first application, and I was actually lucky enough to try a few things from the range that they're doing for QVC. There's only 16 pieces but they are all the best of the best, so I have quite a few Tarte themed favourites this month. The first one I was surprised about because when it comes to mascaras I'm very picky and I don't tend to fall in love with one all that often. There's only very few that make it to the top of the top list for me, but this one I have been enjoying using so much, and it's the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara, and I did say in my Sephora haul as well that I got a mini size of this and absolutely loved it, so I've been moving on to the full size because I think I've actually used up the mini one already, which is really hard to do in a month probably, but I have, and I just really like it. I think it's an amazing mascara just for an everyday bit of volume, bit of length. It's nothing extremely wow factor, although you can build it up to be really intense, but I just love this because it's so quick and fast and easy to put on and you're done within a couple of coats. The wand on this one really doesn't look anything special, but there's just something about it that seems to grip onto my lashes, and I know some people's lashes are different, some people suit different mascaras, but this one just seems to work really well with my eyelashes, so I've been really enjoying using that one. And also from Tarte, this is kind of an exciting product because there aren't too many of them about at the moment, and this is the waterproof Amazonian clay brow mousse. It's called Emphasize Eyes, Emphasize. Now I've quite recently spoken about the Anastasia brow pomade or pomade, and I used it in a get ready with me video I think a while back, and it's been one of my favourite brow products, and I think the whole idea of a gel liner for your brows is something really exciting and really great to use. The one thing that I would change about that if I could was just the colour range, and I went for dark brown in that one, which is a good match for me, but it's just so pigmented that it comes out so dark on my eyebrows. So when this came through I was just really excited because it is pretty much the perfect match for my brows, and it's a very similar formula. It's not quite as creamy, it's a little bit harder, but that's nice because you can have a bit more workability with it. It's not so thin and smudgy as the Anastasia one was, although that sets down and will not be coming off your brows for hours and hours. It's just a little bit trickier to work with, whereas this you can just really brush on fine little hairs with it and you can build up a nice strong brow, or you can leave it to be quite subtle and quite natural. This one actually comes with a brush as well, which has an angled side and then a spoolie on the other end, and it just makes life so much easier when you have the two together and you don't have to bring 2 different brow brushes with you. So that has been one of my go-to brow products this month. And of course I have to talk about the blushes, and unfortunately there are only 3 shades available on QVC, which I think is a bit of a pain because they are relatively similar. Well, they're all pinks, but there's no bright corals, there's no darker bronzy browny colours, so that's a bit of a shame, but hopefully they'll bring out more shades in the future if the line does well. So I've got 2 here. This one is actually part of the QVC range. This is in the colour Fearless, and it's just such a pretty pink. It looks quite bright on camera, but it comes out a little bit sheerer on the cheeks, but it's a very natural, flushed, bright red cheek look without being too bright and over the top. It just makes you look really healthy and kind of glowing as well. So that is one of my favourites, but I think the absolute favourite is this one here. This is Blissful, and this is one that I actually ordered from Sephora. So it's not a colour you can get here in the UK, but it is quite easy now to order through Sephora. But it's just the most perfect coral peachy pink, definitely a typical me colour, and I just absolutely love it. And the formulas of both of these are just brilliant. They're really great. So those 3 at the moment are definitely my top top products from Tarte, but there are two other things that I have been really enjoying, and the first one is the Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Concealer, and I've tried quite a few things from the Amazonian Clay face range. So obviously the blushes I really like, but the foundations, I'm not so sure if I'm completely sold on them yet. I know some people absolutely swear by them, but I need to try them out for a little bit longer. I'm not 100% sure, but this I do really like, and it's not the best for under the eyes. I wouldn't use this to cover up dark circles. I did use it when I first got it and it just creased really badly on me, which I have a big problem with anyway in terms of my concealers, but it just really didn't sit right. But for covering up blemishes or redness, dark patches, pretty much anything across the face, it's amazing. It's not thick enough that it's going to feel heavy or cakey or just look too much on your skin, but it's sort of pigmented enough to cover up anything, and it does a really good job. Sometimes I've been wearing this just alone with a bit of powder on top instead of foundation, and it just masks away pretty much all your flaws. So I really like this for just covering up anything that needs to be covered. One thing that I did really like that I was kind of surprised by was the Maracuja C Brighter Eye Treatment, and I think whenever makeup brands bring out skincare ranges, there's never enough time and research invested into them, and you tend to not trust them as much as, say, a skincare brand bringing out a line of skincare. But this was really nice. It was very brightening, and I have been using my Origins GinZing eye cream beforehand, and I just went out of that, and I thought that was brightening and uplifting for my dark circles, but this stuff really made a difference, and I was surprised because usually dark circles are something that you're stuck with and they don't tend to change, but my eyes just looked a lot more awake with this, and I think that's probably down to the vitamin C it has in it. Vitamin C obviously does wonders for dark circles and things like that. It also works really well under concealer, I found, so it helped everything stay in place and it didn't slip and slide around like some eye creams can do to your makeup, so that was another favourite. And Tarte commercial over. I promise this video isn't sponsored by Tarte. I've just really been enjoying their products, so I definitely think they're worth checking out. So this month, as you probably already know, Chanel launched a foundation, and when Chanel bring out a new product, especially a new foundation, it's something to get excited about, so I had to go and pick one up. And I was trying it out. It's called the Perfection Lumière Velvet, and I'm still not really sold on it. I don't know how I feel about the finish of it. I like the coverage, I like the buildability, I like the nice little black packaging, but it just doesn't seem to look right on my skin. It looks like I've put powder on after my foundation, even though I haven't put powder on. So it stays round, I guess, but at the moment it's been clinging on to some little dry patches and things, so really not sold on this one at all. But actually using this reminded me of how much I love the Vitalumière Aqua foundation, which is in a very similar bottle. I think all Chanel foundations have come in this bottle because it's really handy. So this is kind of the complete opposite of the Perfection Lumière. It's very dewy, very moisturising, quite sheer, doesn't have a great deal of coverage, but it just makes your skin look so healthy, and I'm so glad I started trying it out again. I've probably had this bottle for far too long now. I need to get a new one, but it just is the nicest lightweight foundation, and I'm definitely more into my lightweight foundations at the moment, so I've been wearing this a lot since I bought this one. Today I actually have a mixture of both of these on, so I've been trying it out and seeing if there was a way for me to fall in love with this, and I kind of like the combination of the two. So you get the glowy, dewy look, but you also get a bit of the coverage and the lasting power, so that's what I have on my face today. But so far I think Vitalumière Aqua was definitely a winner for me. So last makeup favourite is also something I'm wearing today, and it's this red lipstick from Bourjois, and this is one of their Rouge edition Velvet liquid lipsticks, which they've just recently brought out, and I was really excited when I saw these. I'm very much into liquid lipsticks. I was mildly obsessed with them at the end of the last year. I couldn't stop wearing them, so it was nice to see one from a lower priced brand. I think there's around 5 or 6 shades in the range, so there's a few more natural muted colours, but then there are some amazing brights as well, and this one in particular, this is Hot Pepper. It's just the perfect red. It's just the right balance between a little bit warm, a little bit orangey undertone, but it is a nice true red. I really like the formula of these as well. They're very comfortable to wear, and yet they do last for such a long time. If I touch my lips, they don't even come off at all on my hand, so they're definitely stained on there, but they're not as drying and as dehydrating as some of the other liquid lipsticks I've tried. So this month I've been really into a certain Jo Malone fragrance line, and if you can see I actually have a candle burning in the background there, and it's one of the limited edition candles designed by Michael Ango, which is just beautifully packaged, and it's actually the Blackberry and Bay fragrance. I have the actual perfume here as well, so I've just been misting myself with this and then enjoying the smell of my candle at the same time, and it's really a fragrance that I can't explain. It's nothing like I've ever smelt before. It's definitely quite sweet and quite fruity, which I think is the blackberry coming through, but then there's this almost like herby planty type smell to it, which doesn't sound particularly appetizing, but it just smells amazing. Like I say, it's just like nothing I've ever smelled before. So if you have a Jo Malone counter nearby you, definitely go and smell this instead of hearing me describe it terribly. One thing I love about wearing Jo Malone fragrances is that they just seem to work in with your skin so well. They just melt into your natural warmth, and it kind of adapts slightly to your own personal smell, I guess. So they just work really beautifully on the skin, and that's been my favourite perfume definitely this month. So the two last things I have to show you are both skincare items, and they're both sort of rediscoveries in a way. As the first one is the Ren Clearcalm 3 Clarifying Clay Cleanser. That's really hard to say. And this one I had a while back and I used it up. It was probably a few months ago that I stopped using it, and I felt like my skin really missed it. I think you don't always realise that you like a product until you stop using it and you notice the change in your skin. So it's actually a clay based cleanser, and it just feels very cooling and soothing on your skin. It doesn't foam up, which is something that I don't really like in cleansers, but it feels very refreshing at the same time, almost like it's just calming down your skin and pulling out all the impurities. So I've been saving this one mostly for the mornings when I do like to really energise my skin with a cleanser. It's actually targeted at blemishes, and I do get them every so often, and when I wasn't using this I really noticed that they were hanging around for a lot longer, so I went back to using it, and it just feels like it calms and soothes and takes away blemishes and the redness and the soreness that they sometimes have a lot quicker than if I wasn't using it. So I think I'll always have to keep this one that's stocked up on the skincare shelf. So my last favourite is also something that I had for a while and then I stopped using it and I've just come back to, and it's the Antipodes Avocado Pear Nourishing Night Cream. I was using my Kiehls Ultra Facial Cream pretty much morning and night, and all my other moisturisers were getting forgotten about, and I just recently finished that one up, so I thought I'd better use everything else before I went and bought another one, because I do think that is an amazing moisturiser. But this one really surprised me because I forgot what it was like. It doesn't quite have the lightweight texture of the Kiehls one, and yet it is still as hydrating. It takes a little bit longer to sink in, but I think it's because it's made up of a lot more natural ingredients, which is always a good thing to have on your skin. Whenever I use an evening moisturiser, I always look in the morning to see whether it's still on my skin, and I think that's a really good judge of how well it's kept my skin hydrated, whether or not it's actually still there. And this one actually really hangs around. It still feels as fresh and as plumped in the morning as when you put it on at night. So I've really been enjoying using this one again, and I shouldn't have forgotten about it. So those are all my favourites from the month of April. I hope you enjoyed watching that. Let me know what your favourites were this month as well in the comments, and I will see you all soon.